Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing as the Knicks pull out the win, undefeated in pre-season now. Let's chop it up with the best chat in the biz. You already know what it is, guys. Appreciate you. Smash that like button. Let's talk about the game tonight as the Knicks rested their starters. But it was an eventful game, entertaining game, as our rotation players, the bench, the rookies, man, had themselves a night. Precious Achiuwa, big time performance. Cameron Payne gave the squad the energy. Deuce McBride is loose. But the rookies tonight may have just stole the show, man. Tyler Kolek, Ariel Hukporti, and Dadiet. Dadiet had himself a night, man. Let's chop this thing up, man, and get all your reactions. Let's get into it, guys. Salute. Welcome into the post-game live with CT. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's great to have you with us, man, and shout out to Replay Squad as well. Give me your takes, man, after this one. The chat's buzzing already, man. So much we could talk about tonight, and we will. We'll break it all down. But obviously, it's the Yankees on tonight as well. We'll break down the score with that one as well. Yankees doing well. But, man, the New York Knicks, the story has got to be, we've got to start with undefeated, right? Undefeated in preseason. Obviously, the big story before the game is that Tibbs announced that he was going to sit the starters, right? With a clear plan. It looked like they were going to do this from the get-go. I was kind of thinking about it pre-game, like, would they play, lighter minutes tonight? But then he basically just said, we're going to get everyone ready for the full dress rehearsal against Washington. But then, obviously, we got the announcement that, the starters, and it was no surprise, basically the core bench five got in. But we got to see Dadiet for the first time tonight, man, and he was super impressive, man. We're going to talk about him and give out his flowers. So many flowers to give out, guys. But as always, you guys can vote for your player standout so far, right? As I bring this thing up, shout out to the chat. Everyone buzzing with us right now. Man, Precious Achiuwa was huge tonight. But Deuce McBride continues to be a standout for me, as well as Cam Payne. But arguably the second biggest story to come out of the game is the injury to Landry Shamet, man. Very unfortunate. Appeared to be a dislocation. Fell awkwardly off a defensive play and looked to be in pain. Went to the locker room, and yeah, the footage out there is quite graphic. Not going to bring it up, but yeah, it seems to be a dislocation, and we're waiting to find out the outcome. He'll have an MRI, obviously. Hopefully there's no ligament or any major structural damage. And hopefully it's not as serious as the one Julius Randle, had first up. But obviously, my thoughts are he's on an unguaranteed deal, right? The Knicks could decide to hold on to him, or they could, maybe, bring him back if he's healthy later and maybe bring TJ Warren in. We'll find out. Obviously, we'll find out more, and we'll bring you up to speed, guys, as I pull up the reporting from Fred Katz, basically saying that the Knicks could choose to hold on to Shamet, on a non-guaranteed deal if healthy. He's pushing for that rotation spot, and I think he had that locked up, right? But they could substitute TJ Warren in for his spot. TJ Warren also got major minutes tonight, and he was playing really well, was TJ Warren. So let's get everyone's thoughts, guys, as we break this thing down tonight, man. The rookies was another huge talking point. Obviously, Tyler Kolek continues to be really impressive, dishing and swishing. As we pull up the box score, and we talk about our heroes tonight, man. Tyler Kolek finished with 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 7 points, putting the Knicks on his back late with a floater, +5 in the plus-minus as well. Little inefficient offensively, but he had a bigger role, of course. And so when we look at the numbers tonight, you take that into consideration that everyone had a bigger role tonight. Ariel Hukporti was a little gassed towards the end, but man, he gave the Knicks everything he had, dunking on people, and basically put Nick Richards on a poster tonight. And so did Mr. Achiuwa, getting upstairs, man. And basically having himself a huge night. Did Precious. Same with Hukporti, hammer Hukporti. He was dunking all over everyone, and really efficient from the field. Obviously, the free throws are something he's got to clean up. But I love his energy. Yeah, again, he sets hard screens, and I think he definitely made another case for himself to get minutes this season. But the forgotten man, arguably before the game, man, we're supposed to see Dadiet earlier, but tonight, man, 16 points, right, in the second quarter. Dadiet hit a 4-point play. He was everywhere, cutting, really active off the ball. Some carryover from summer league, but also the 3-point shooting and the putting the ball on the floor and shot creation was something that we hadn't seen before as well. As you see Dadiet basically getting the seal off from Hukporti, taking it all the way to the rack. Man, we're going to break down all these highlight plays tonight and some. So smash that like button, guys, and we're going to shout you guys out as well. And as well, you can vote for your player standout, man. I mean, Dadiet definitely deserves some votes tonight, man. Is he going to be able to factor into this season based on what we've seen? Obviously, he's going to be situational early, and I'll give my thoughts as the night progresses. But I feel like he's a player that could, grow as the season goes. He's obviously getting more physical in terms of his body. He's 18 or maybe just turned 19. And he's a guy, once he puts on more muscle, gets in the weight room, I think he's an NBA ready defender, on the defensive side of the ball. But tonight we saw the offensive side of the ball as well. We've got Michael Drake, Harlem World in the building, Susan, AP, Buzzer Beater, Michael Drake, Vaughn Allen, Coach Susan, Julian Blum's with us, Jean Sherrill, Shirley's with us as well, SB. We're all buzzing, guys. Give us your thoughts on this big win, right? Obviously the Hornets are a bad team, right? But our guys super impressive to play up against their starters, and go toe to toe. So I think that answers a lot of questions, coming into the game about our bench, guys. I think they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of experience. In the likes of Payne, Precious Achiuwa, Deuce McBride, and obviously Shamet before he got injured, and obviously Tyler Kolek, I think, is ready for minutes, right? If you watch this preseason, even just a little bit, it's hard to come away thinking that Tyler Kolek is not ready to play NBA minutes. I think he's ready. He's probably going to be situational early, but it's a good luxury to have. A guy like him that can step up, and like he did tonight. But a guy like Dadiet is also going to stay situational, but it's just good to see that, hey, that first round draft pick that we had, man, he's going to be cooking in the lab for this season. And obviously we've got a lot going on around the league. We've got Joel Embiid, we've got Paul George health concerns. The depth of the New York Knicks is starting to look more solid. That's a big takeaway, a broader takeaway that I have from preseason. And obviously we've got one more game now on Friday night, fam. We've got the full dress rehearsal. The full squad's going to be back, and it's going to be buzzing in Washington as we close out preseason and we get ready for officially 1 week away tonight, opening night. It goes down in Beantown, New York Knicks, Tuesday night in Boston. Guys, I'm feeling better about the season after this preseason. Obviously, we're going to get one more game. I think the starters really need that, to continue to build their chemistry. Hart's integration with the starting five. That's a talking point that we'll get into. Obviously, there's a lot of you guys feel like Josh Hart, could be suited coming off the bench and all of that. But the Knicks are 4-0, like Buzzer Beater says, and Ryan says the depth is legit as well. And Cheesy Soul Cakes makes a point about Shamet's injury. Does that open the door for Dadiet? Right, I think it's something to really look at. Obviously, Tibbs is more likely to bring these rookies along slower. But man, tonight and in preseason, they've showed out too, man. We're going to get through the grades tonight, the box score. We'll make sure we give out flowers to every player. But let's look at some of these highlight plays, man. It was an entertaining game, but our rookies, man, showed out, man. I'm a proud fan tonight because I think Walt Perrin, I knew the background of these players that we drafted and what they were capable of, long term. But some of these guys are looking more ready, and obviously Ariel Hukporti, man, was a demon tonight running the break, finished with about 5 dunks and would have finished a couple more if it wasn't for the hard fouls as well. And of course the Payne Dadiet 4-point play. Man, the 4-point play lives on at MSG. His first few buckets went splash. He was 4 or 4 early. Daddy looked like he really put in work since the summer league. The shot from the corner looks really good. His reading and processing of the game looks pretty solid for an early stage as well. But look at Tyler Kolek, man, with the right-handed assist on that one too. He had his part in, he had his fingerprints all over this game, did Kolek, and I like the little crossover there. He's a sneaky, crafty guard, man. And there was a lot of comparisons to TJ McConnell for a Tyler Kolek, but I think that's selling him short, man, for where he might end up. Right, I'm not saying right now, but where he might end up. Right, Tyler the Creator, I call him TKO, and he was definitely, man, all over this ball game. I loved his imprint. Obviously, 9 assists, outstanding, man. 8 rebounds, rebounding all over the place tonight. What was your favorite play from tonight? This was the same play on that one, but this got everyone up out of their seat. This woke the garden up tonight, man. Ariel Hukporti put Nick Richards on a poster. This is my favorite play of the night, man, with the left. Even the cock back. I mean, get this man in the dunk contest. What do you guys think? Any hashtags AH for Ariel tonight, man? The big A, they call him in the Big Apple. Man, I think our backup center situations are resolved. I'm not going to lie, man. I think between Precious, between Sims, between Hukporti, take your pick, right? And we'll talk about Sims. He had a up and down night. Ariel Hukporti had some foul troubles as well with extended minutes. But I think you saw what you needed to see in terms of, I think we're good for now, in the absence of Mitch. But yeah, these guys are definitely going to start to factor in early in the season, right? I mean, Precious Achiuwa was so impressive tonight. Some concerns. AP says one thing that still concerns me, CT, is that they can't defend the 3-point shot. I think, yeah, Tibbs was definitely frustrated tonight at times, but I think Charlotte was, a very shoot-heavy team. They weren't hesitating as well. So, yeah, we got to close out better on that one. I agree with your point on that one. I thought TJ Warren could be next in line, like Jean Charel says. Let's watch tonight, see if there's any updates on Landry Shamet. But prayers up to everyone, like Ryan says in the chat. Old Head says Dadiet's 19, probably goes to the G League. TJ's 31 and 6'8", and should make the roster. Yeah, I echo those thoughts. But yeah, Dadiet could be a nice situational piece after we see tonight. He looks really smooth, putting the ball on the floor as well. Yeah, shout out to our coaching staff to getting these guys ready. It was what I heard was a really successful training camp. I think we've got good veteran leadership. We've got solid veterans in the locker room and great coaches, development coaches, and I think it's showing, man. As Don John likes the TKO, I think that's tough as well. TKO solid, man. Towns rocking the dipset gear. Yeah, we had the starting 5, man. Absolutely loving it on the sideline. Josh Hart eating into his candy. And look, the Charlotte Hornets against their starters, man. Our rookies were impressive. I think Cameron Payne deserves a lot of flowers, right? I want to start with him as we sort of shout out more individuals, guys, and continue to shout you guys out. Let me know your thoughts and smash that like button, right? Precious Achiuwa, super impressive. We'll get to him in a minute. But Cameron Payne, for me, man, has been top 3 standouts of preseason. Man, 6 of 18, 3 of 9, right? That doesn't jump off the page. But if you watch the ball game, you know that the Knicks don't win tonight without Cameron Payne's production, right? 8 assists, 16 points, and was getting really chippy, was getting, diving on the floor with those loose balls, was tying guys up, was frustrating LaMelo. as well. And I thought Cameron Payne, man, is going to be a big factor now in this season. Um, I had my doubts. I'm not going to lie. I was a little sus on the pickup in terms of like his role, and how much he would factor in. But after this preseason, after 4 games, it leaves no doubt in my mind, about about the production and the role that Cameron Payne is going to play this season too, fam. I see Buzzer Beater, man, wishing me a happy born day. Appreciate that, man. Yes, in the States, it's my birthday. I can confirm that, man. Another year wiser, and appreciate the love. And let's get it, Knicks Nation. But yeah, Charlotte, they're lottery bound. But yeah, their rookies were getting after it, man. I really thought that Trey Mann continues to be impressive, and obviously Miller, I think could be their best player starting from this season, right? But yeah, Cameron Payne, I think big minutes tonight. He's not going to play that many minutes, but yeah, I like his look next to Deuce. I like him playing next to, Kolek. I think there's so many different lineups that we can play. And I think versatility it screams versatility, and that comes to mind in terms of what Tibbs can do, right? Next up, let's talk about Precious Achiuwa, right? And we're going to focus more on the young fellas a whole lot more, but I want to shout out these vets first up, man. And I really appreciate the love, man. Appreciate you guys, man. And we're rocking out tonight with this one. And I'm having a little sip tonight as well. As the Knicks are undefeated in preseason, we've got one more ball game, and then it's the real deal next week. But Precious Achiuwa, this was arguably one of his best, most well-rounded ball games as a Knick. 8 of 15, 2 of the 3 3-pointers, man. That is what stands out to me with Precious. If he can space the floor out in a smaller sample like that, that could be a solid backup stretch 5. He's that plug and play at the 4, at the 5. If Cat is struggling. I thought he was so active tonight, man. 16 rebounds, 3 assists, 20 points, a +1. Precious Achiuwa was absolutely a beast tonight. And I think this is the start of something major. I think this is the start of something in terms of Tom Thibodeau, Mark Bryant, the coaching staff, and the confidence they're instilling in Precious Achiuwa. He looks like a completely different player from the Raptors, Achiuwa, in terms of just playing more, getting a feel for these guys. He looks very active, putting the ball on the floor, getting out in transition as well, right? We'll talk about TJ Warren, yeah, and potentially getting more room buzzer. But we have a super chat from Ryan, says, a birthday cake, have a slice, man. Appreciate that. Let's go. Appreciate you, man. Great to see you in the chat with us. Big time win, big time performance from these New York Knicks. I'm really pleased. I think I've got to give the preseason an A so far. Obviously, it's a little marred by the injury of Landry Shamet, because he was definitely going to be factoring in, into this season. But we wait for some more updates, and I'll check that in a minute, right? Next up, Deuce McBride, inefficient again from the field, but 4 of 11 from 3, huge volume. He emptied the clip tonight. Did Deuce, and Deuce has stayed loose, and I think he's our 6th man. And tonight just proved it again. 18 points, +12 with the team high. Getting active, getting after it, 5 assists as well, 1 steal, a rebound, only 1 turnover, which is pleasing. Is Deuce developing his game more overall as a floor general? 1 turnover to 5 assists is what you want to see. So I love that, man. And yeah, great present tonight, seeing these rooks showcase themselves, right? And then obviously Shamet. Now we're going to talk about the injury and his role moving forward. He's on a non-guaranteed deal, which is really tough, and that's why a lot of players don't take non-guaranteed deals when it comes to, being a veteran. So I appreciate Landry Shamet, for what he's been able to do so far for us. Been a little streaky, inefficient, but he's the kind of player that we look like we needed coming off the bench, because he gets active, he gets after it. I think he's tenacious defensively, but he's a guy who's unselfish as well. He's not really a ball hog as well. He likes to come off the curl, kind of like that Quentin Grimes role, you know, shoot it when he's open and those kind of things. So it was definitely a dislocation. Hopefully, it's nothing like a ruptured ligament or anything like that. Hopefully, it's just a case of they pop it back in, and maybe in a couple of weeks or in a less than that, he's able to to start being active again. But yeah, you hate to see it, man. It was just a bang bang play. It could happen to anybody, and hopefully, it's not as serious as it was the one that Julius had in terms of keeping him out for longer too. But basically, if that spot is available now, whoa, I feel like as we're going to talk about the rooks now, definitely Ariel Hukporti was trending towards getting the one of the spots, man. No Chuma Akiki tonight though, which is very interesting, right? He's on a camp deal, but he didn't play, so I feel like it's pretty safe to say that he's going to go to Westchester. I feel, and he's going to get cut from the main roster. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. TJ Warren, really impressive tonight in a short sample. Looked like that veteran out there that knows where the bucket is. 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 11 points, and a +6 for TJ Warren. Do you guys feel TJ Warren should take that Shamet spot, right, if he gets cut? I feel like it makes sense. Like the money, from what I understand, makes sense. The 2.1 million is going to be the same as Landry Shamet's as well. So TJ Warren, he might be the lock to get that spot if Landry can't go. Obviously we need a veteran. I feel like we need more assurance in terms of the scoring area off the bench, right? And we're going to lead into Payne Dadiet and the rooks coming up right now. But I mean, you just hate to see that injury because it was a feel-good night in terms of okay, our bench is starting to look a legit. We've got situational guys that are putting their hand up. So I guess that's the silver lining, for me, reacting to the news that Landry Shamet is injured now and, might be set to miss extended time. He might get cut. We'll find out. But we've got some more votes coming in, guys. Payne Dadiet is picking up some votes in the orange. We've got Deuce McBride still leading as the standout player, your standout player of the preseason. Paula asked a great question. Can he get cut if he is injured? I think he can. I think there used to be a rule where, we all know the infamous story where John Starks, tried to dunk on Patrick Ewing and he was set to get cut back in, it was not like 91. I think it was 91, 92. And then, or it was 90, 91. John Starks was set to get cut. He got injured and the Knicks couldn't cut him. But I think the type of contract that Shamet is on is a non-guaranteed camp deal, Exhibit 9. But I don't want to jump the gun. It might not be as serious. We're just kind of speculating right now if he is not able to play for a while, and it doesn't make sense for the Knicks to use a real roster spot on a player that might be on the sidelines, for an extended time. But prayers up. We'll wait and find out what it is. But TJ Warren is a solid insurance policy for me, in my opinion, right? And here is one of Shamet's highlights. Yeah, we need that. You can pull up off the dribble. You can do some stuff. Can Landry, and I really felt it was a solid pickup in terms of the veteran minimum. A guy that gets active, all of those things. Salute 007 Angelo with a super chat. Says CT salute. New song for your openings. Yep. Definitely, man. Let's get it. Appreciate that. Great game tonight. Hope Shamet is okay. We need him. Celtics, we're coming for you. Let's get it. 007, man. Great to see you. Yeah, I'm feeling good after preseason. I think it's been a solid, warm up, especially tonight. I feel like to get these guys some minutes, I think it was a really good decision from Tibbs, right? And I kind of, hinted at it after the last post game. I kind of felt like after the Minnesota game, it was the most intense that we're going to get. So what was the point in really playing, the starters heavy minutes again? And look, God forbid, one of our major rotation players in the starting five get injured tonight. You know, that would have been an absolute, horror story, leading into Halloween, for another guy. But, obviously you don't want to see anyone get injured, but that's just one of the reasons why, you don't play your big time players in these meaningless games too much. So I really like what Tibbs did, and it got these guys going. I think they're going to feel a ton of confidence, right? Cameron Payne, he's earned his spot. One of my standouts for preseason so far, man. He continues to be so shifty. He creates separation off the pick because he's really got a good quick first step. He can get into the paint. He also is shifty with the hezzy dribble there as well, and he's got the floater. I mean, he's basically an Emmanuel Quickly light, you know, from what I've seen so far. I'm not trying to disrespect that. I mean that as a compliment in a way where it's like, Emmanuel Quickly was our spark plug, but, as a scorer, he had the floater game as well. He could pull up off the bounce, shoot the three. And I feel like Cameron Payne's kind of done all of that to a lesser extent. Uh, Obviously, we need to see the consistency. We need to see him do it in the real games. But him next to Deuce McBride, I think that's the engine of our offense off the bench as well. And it doesn't hurt to have a guy like TKO waiting in the wings to be that guy. As Steve has voted for PD, we've got some Pacome Dadiet votes coming through. We're about to shout him out. TKO, Tyler Kolek. We're going to shout out Ariel Hukporti as well. Talk about Jericho Sims. But yeah, we've given out the love and the flowers to these veterans. Yeah, I really like the Deuce Landry Shamet combination. I think both can shoot off the bounce, both can play make, and both can run the offense as well, which is a really it's a really handy weapon, I think, to have coming off your bench when it comes to that, fam. As we see the squad warming up, man, this is the squad that played tonight. Close knit, no quit, all grit is the mantra of this squad right now, and it's always next man up. So unfortunate for Landry Shamet, but the next guy will get his chance. And as Knicks 25 champ says, Dadiet is a ball player, so he gets his chance. I'm going to think that Tyler Kolek enters the fray without Landry Shamet. I think definitely Tyler Kolek, TKO enters the fray in terms of, put his hand up to be in that 10-man rotation. I think Ariel Hukporti is going to factor into this season one way or the other, right? I know there's that battle going on between the Sims minutes, the Hukporti minutes. There's Hukporti Hive as well, right? May the best man win the battle in terms of whatever's best for the New York Knicks. But in terms of what my eyes tell me, I think Hukporti is a legit bigger body, a legit center for the 5 spot. Physical, man, battles on the glass. Got into a little bit of foul trouble, but you love the energy, you love the actiness as well. Sims was a monster on the glass early. He finished with 10 rebounds and 7 points. A couple of really nice putback jams for Jericho Sims. And we're going to go through all the highlights again and talk about these guys because, they were super impressive, right? Starting with Kolek, he's distributing, man. The 9 assists, amazing with that. And obviously his defense has been put to the test tonight. He was a +5 in the plus minus. Also, I love the grittiness. He gets after it, on the rebounds. 8 rebounds for Tyler Kolek. Pedro says Dadiet might take Shamet's spot. Yeah, I think he's got a shot. Definitely, man. What are you guys thinking? Will says Cam less than 10th of Quickly's salary hit. That's a great point to make as well, fam. AP, what's the story with Jake Toppin? The story is that he was in street clothes, and so I think he's on a two-way contract. Kind of surprised he didn't play tonight, but I think they wanted to give these other guys more of a showcase. I think Jake is still safe on his two-way. Paulus is Payne. This guy is really fast. Yeah, he's crafty. Dorkosaurus Rex, officially time for Knicks fans to stop underrating Precious Achiuwa. 100% on that one. Let's get it. Michael Drake. Yeah, we're in the building. Shout out. Susan says Deuce McBride is the best. He might be in the starting position, depending on what the team and the Knicks need the most and who they're playing against. Yeah, I could see so many different lineups going through my mind right now. I think Tibbs has all the weapons this season, guys, and I think it's up to him to utilize it. But Leon Rose will continue, I think, to be aggressive and see what else is out there. Obviously, you got Mitch on the sidelines right now, and man, what a boost it could be if he gets back early. Him next to Cat. If there's one concern coming out of preseason that I'm probably the most concerned about, I think is defensively. I think offensively we'll be fine, guys. Once again, 111 tonight with the situationals and the bench playing, the rookies. But if there's one thing you're most concerned about, highlight it in the chat. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you feel like could be the main concern, and what's the thing that you feel the best about. Obviously, I feel better about our depth. I feel that these rookies are a bit more ready than people feel. You've got guys on good contracts as well. Cameron Payne, really good contract. Deuce McBride, Hukporti looks like he could give solid rotation minutes as a backup, and he's only going to get better as we go, man. And he's the next guy I want to highlight, because the chemistry with Tyler Kolek and Hukporti is real. It's absolutely legit, right? And he found him on the hammer, as we talk about Dadiet next up. But here is another one with Hukporti running the break. It was an unselfish play from this one, man. TJ Warren with the great assist. And a Hukporti, you love to see the big man run the floor like that too. And the bench loved it on that one. It was a scrappy night, but we got a lot of scrappers and a lot of hustlers on this squad, man. I really feel like, the fan base is going to love this squad that we have this season. Last season was obviously close to our hearts. It was a different team. We lost a couple good ones, but I feel like we're starting to see, what this squad is capable of now with these new faces in the building. Pac Daddy was big. Let's hit on him next. But Tyler Kolek and Ariel Hukporti, the chemistry is real on this one. And Kolek finds Dadiet in the corner. He owes that man a dinner tonight, man. Dadiet in his Knick debut. Has a rookie looked that good in their debut? And it's not an official NBA game, but it's NBA action in preseason. Pacome Dadiet, was pretty underwhelming in summer league. He was a guy that was further down the pecking order. People weren't really ready to talk about him because we're trying to win a chip, and he's a couple of years away. What people thought. Does tonight change your mind on Pacome Dadiet? Right. I think it's hard not to be impressed because and feel like that he could factor into this season if there's injuries, if there's situational minutes available. And what I mean by that is that, let's say, one injury to Shamet, it could be one injury to Deuce or Payne, and you've got to bring somebody into the rotation. And I think Kolek and Dadiet, Hukporti got to be the first few guys that comes to mind. TJ Warren as well, if he sticks, I think the bench could utilize a spark like him too. But some of the Knicks beat. Christian Winfield of the Daily News says, got to convert Ariel Hukporti's two-way into a standard deal. He makes everyone else look like a small child. And James L. Edwards says, not going to overreact to what Dadiet is doing because I don't think he'll play any meaningful basketball anytime soon. This was before the Shamet injury, I think. But he's been the best player in the game tonight that featured Ball, Miller, and Bridges throughout the game. So that was a huge call. Another rookie-to-rookie connection. I love this play, guys, where basically Hukporti got it from Kolek down low. Good synergy there again. And then Hukporti with the good assist too. So the big man got some passing chops as well. And so we might not miss, Isaiah Hartenstein as much as people think. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Dorkasaurus says, Dadiet just needs to adjust to the NBA three-point line. That's literally it. Michael Drake says, CT, should we get a backup center? Thon Maker was released by the Rockets. Yeah, I know Thon Maker, and I feel like we've got what we need. I feel like Hukporti is better than him right now. And so I don't see that likely. But yeah, if Mitch doesn't get back anytime soon, the Knicks still might be looking for another big. Akbar says Sims honestly still looks like a project out there. So we see some inconsistency. He had some moments tonight, did Sims. I feel like he's on a really cheap deal and the Knicks will keep him. But this year, I think nothing's promised after this season. We'll wait to see. Buzzer says we haven't been tested by a true contender yet, especially our bench. I hear what you're saying. I think the Timberwolves, game was a good test. If you look at it that way, man, I think the Timberwolves are set to be a top 4 team in the NBA. I think so. You could look at that as like one of the bigger tests we could face. But in terms of this bench and the guys playing bigger minutes, that's still up in the air. And yeah, that still remains to be seen. Ryan says, good point. Didn't think about Hukporti's passing game. Yeah, I think his feel for the game overall is good. And speaking of feel for the game, Tyler, the creator, man, he can pass off the left, off the right. Shades of John Stockton, ladies and gentlemen, coming to mind with that. Obviously, we love to hype up our rooks. I'm enjoying the night tonight, man. It was just fun to see these guys play extended minutes. And this is better than Summer League. This is better than that because we're going head to head with your LaMelos, with your Brandon Millers, Trey Mans, Miles Bridges, Nick Richards, Grant Williams tonight. So, I mean, Miles Bridges is regarded as a good a high-level NBA defender or a solid NBA defender, and Tyler Kolek just took him off the dribble here, off the left. Obviously, he allows him to go left on that one, and he finds the Pac-Man, Pac Daddy, in the corner where he exploded, man, for 16 points in the second. Right, it was unbelievable. My eyes couldn't believe it. But our rookies have arrived on this one, man. And shout out to this dime from Deuce Miles McBride, man. There was a murder at MSG tonight, and it was Nick Richards, right? Knicks fans might be looking elsewhere for the backup center. Not Nick Richards, the guy that just put him on a poster. Our rookie, Ariel Hukporti. AP says good for his confidence. Harlem World says, would you move Hart to the bench and who would you put off the bench? I think Precious, man. I think Precious or Deuce seem to be the logical, solutions. I think if there's a move in play, maybe on any night, matchup dependent, if Josh Hart, plays more off the bench, I think Deuce would work really well next to Brunson, and then I think Precious Achiuwa as well next to Cat, and you can shift OG back to the 3. I'm probably going to lean towards Precious Achiuwa, to be honest with you, because I think Precious could help Cat out defensively, and then you keep Deuce's offense still coming off the bench so that you don't lose that productivity as well. So, I mean, in a night of super impressive performances, I'm going to say that Precious Achiuwa probably deserves the game ball just from a start to a finish perspective. 54% from the field, efficient. 67% from deep. Hit all of his free throws. A whopping 16 rebounds, 3 assists, 20 points. This is Precious Achiuwa's best game as a New York Knick, preseason or regular season included. And I think, as I said before earlier in the show, I'm really feeling like he has more in his arsenal in terms of the coaching staff, making Precious look better every single day. Last season was just a small sample of Precious playing more minutes. He's still a young player, and he's still a guy who I think has more to give. He's athletic. I think he's a guy who can shoot it, and I think we're starting to see it now as well. So, yeah, the 3-point shooting for Precious Achiuwa seemed to be eye-opening tonight for me, guys. The 2 of 3, ain't really it's not a minuscule sample size. It's pretty decent. There were good looks as well. They were pretty good looks. So, Abdul, we talked about Landry Shamet. We await the further news. My, key backup player, if Shamet isn't able to make the roster now, I think Hukporti definitely makes a roster spot. And then I think TJ Warren, would be likely to fill in and provide that offensive spark for us, right? So I feel like those two should probably take the 13th and 14th spots. Cameron Payne's a lock, I feel, to make it now. So prayers up for Landry Shamet, and we wait more news, to see if it ain't as serious, hopefully, as it looked. But here we bring up the extended highlights as the NBA accounts put up. Achiuwa's 20 points, McBride's 18 points, man. Our New York Knicks showed out tonight. You guys are showing out now in the chat as well. What else is on your mind? Let me know any other questions, any concerns coming from preseason, and what's the best thing that you've liked so far, too. You can obviously vote for your player standout. Right? Obviously, I think Deuce McBride is deserving, right? But Dadiet is coming fast, right? With plenty of votes from tonight. Standout player, Dadiet, 16 points in the second quarter. Looks to be ready, I think, to be a situational guy at least. Michael Drake says Precious worked on his game all summer as well. Love the work ethic that he put in. Tay says Dadiet has an offensive bag. 19 years old, good physicals. We might have hit something here with the 25th pick. 100%. Walt Perrin is the best at what he does, man. Finding diamonds in the rough with those guys. And I think that, the sky's the limit for the kid. It's early, but let's see. I agree with Salvador. The Rooks were on point tonight. And so, yeah, I feel like Precious could be the key to come into the starting 5 if there's a change up. But right now, I would still keep it the same. We're winning. If we lose a couple games in a row, I would be open to switching things up. But I think right now, Hart's had struggles, but I think it's still early. You give him the chance. You see opening night. You need his rebounding and his tenacity against Boston. And so I think the starting 5 is set. One more preseason game. I don't think Tibbs will change anything before opening night. But after that, right, it's open for discussion. Right, we'll see how things look in Boston. 1 week from today, the New York Knicks hit Beantown for the opening ring ceremony in the NBA opening night. Right, it's going to be amazing. We're going to be buzzing. After that, we'll be live post-game, of course. And just a schedule announcement, tomorrow night we'll be live as well after 9 p.m. We've got a guest in the building, John Schmelk of the New York Giants, diehard Knicks fan, season ticket holder. We'll be live with John Schmelk tomorrow night after 9 p.m. and we'll be chopping up the latest preseason action with just one more to play on Friday night. It'll be a full dress rehearsal. Guys will be fully dressed. Tonight was the night where these rookies and the situationals could make a case. And I think, man, did they make a huge case. Kind of surprised no Jake Toppin. Maybe there was a little injury at play that I'm not aware of. Kind of a little surprised that Chuma Okiki didn't play either. But I'm not complaining because I love what I saw from Kolek, Dadiet, Hukporti, and I love what I saw from TJ Warren as well, man. I think he's made a huge case for himself. Michael Drake says, don't you love this team? It's deep. I think it's deeper than people think. In terms of like what Buzzer Beater said, I want to see it against, real NBA competition in terms of the real deal. But I'm feeling more confident. There's no doubt about it. Mitch gets back healthy, and we are pretty deep. As these guys progress. Remember, we haven't seen Kevin McCullough yet, who's still rehabbing from a long layoff. Which cut short his NCAA season. He had a knee scope. He's still not 100% either. Lou Bang says Dadiet is what Kevin Knox was supposed to be. Look, yeah, I think Dadiet is more ready than Kevin Knox. I'm pretty confident saying that because Dadiet has pro experience playing in the German league, right? Yes, he's out of France, but I think he played in the German league. It's not a strong league, but it's grown men, physical pro basketball. Guys will steal your lunch, if you're not prepared. And he was a skinny kid, finding his way in that league. Got drafted now. He's still young, but yeah, he's in a man's body. There's no doubt about it. Pacome Dadiet is 6'9" at least. He might be hitting 6'10" soon. So once he hits that weight room throughout the season, he might be playing some small ball four for us. With what he indicated, as I bring up some more Dadiet highlights in that second, he erupted. He looked confident. I mean, taking it down baseline with that strong finish. I love that. And also shout out to Hukporti for the sealed the man off. Nick Richards on that one. So really heady play from Ariel Hukporti on that one, and of course found his man with the dime on that one too. Yeah, I really like Kevin McCullough's game. Just the health concerns is what we have to wait to see. So yeah, we're waiting to see how he plays out, once he gets healthy. But I think the feel for the game for all these rooks, they're more NBA ready that way. There's going to be that rawness. There's going to be some foul trouble. There's going to be that, normal rookie hazing. But what I like from our rookies is that their feel for the game is actually super high. It's not like, they get lost out there. They're happy passing the ball around. It looks cohesive. The dribble handoffs, no ball hogging. Guys just really like playing within the flow, and I think everyone ate tonight. Man, I mean, Dadiet could have even technically kicked that last one out to TJ Warren, but yeah, he was confident enough, I think, to finish that one in traffic, in style, right? So continue getting your buzz in. I'm going to refresh X just to see if there's any latest quotes and news to come from the Landry Shamet injury, right? But it's probably still early to tell. He's probably going to have an MRI early in the morning. They would have popped the shoulder back in, if you're wondering. The shoulder dislocation. They get that arm put back in. Obviously, there's a lot of soreness, discomfort. But when it comes to finding more out and what it means long term, we're gonna find out more once they do that MRI too. So, but Tyler Kolek, man, we got the update from StatMuse, and according to some box scores, Tyler Kolek hit 10 assists. So I have 9 assists on the NBA box score, but hey, man, it was a pretty stat line for TKO tonight, man. 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists, and led the team in just 24 minutes, man. Could the Knicks have stole 2 first-round picks, basically, and we got one in the first and one in the second round, And then obviously we stole Hukporti with the 58th pick as well. Harlem World says TJ Warren next man up. Yeah, I would like that. I think that would be a solid fit. Right. Orange and blue skies, Wall Street Dame. Let's go. Good night to be a Knicks fan. And preseason so far, we're chopping it up. Precious Achiuwa with a standout ball game for me. The floor spacing, the shooting looks to be something that's actually graduated from last season. And here is his post game and the little fade away on that one. That was insane. Was that move? He continues to put in that work, right? But Dadiet, huge surprise out of tonight, man. I was not expecting this. I'm gonna be real. Right, we're going to hear from Ariel Hukporti in a minute. He's been interviewed by SNY in the locker room. Let's touch on that in a second. But we got a little update on the Landry Shamet situation, reporting Ian Begley. I'll bring this one up. So Ian Begley says, Tibbs said Landry Shamet is being examined by Knicks medical staff. He's had a terrific camp. We'll see what the medical staff members say. So that was 37 minutes ago, and we'll find out more, man. But prayers up, man. Everyone send positive vibes to Landry Shamet, because yeah, it's going to be a loss. Obviously we hope that the next man can step up and is ready, and I think he will. Whether that is Kolek, I think he'll be the first opportunity to get some more minutes. If it's not TJ Warren, maybe it is Dadiet, although one game probably doesn't put you ahead of everyone else, as eye-opening as it was, I think. But we've seen what we got in Dadiet, and I'm definitely going to be monitoring him in Westchester, man. Yeah, I think we really got something for the future. And this is a guy on a 4-year rookie deal, right? So when you're really tied up against the cap and you're trying to contend for a championship, to have a player like Dadiet, who could be a wing defender and a scorer, shooter as well, under a cost-friendly 4-year contract, amazing. Right? So solid moves from the draft scouts and the front office of the New York Knicks, getting all these guys. Achiuwa on $6 million, Cameron Payne on a veteran minimum, Shamet veterans minimum, Kolek in the second round contract, Dadiet on a 80% rookie scale first round contract, and now Ariel Hukporti with the 58th pick, man, the final draft pick of the NBA draft. I mean, a lot of fans wanted us to select a Dembona. A lot of fans wanted us to reach and move up to get Deron Holmes. A lot of fans wanted us to get Kalel Ware. And he's looked good. And of course, Zach Edey has looked amazing. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second, because there's been two big standouts. Ryan Dunn, who looks like a New York native from Long Island. Ryan Dunn has looked like, he's raised his game in the summer. And of course, like I said, you've got the Zach Edey, a post demon, who absolutely lit up Indiana last night, man, with like 23 points, 9 rebounds, posting and toasting, was Zach Edey. But our guy, Ariel Hukporti, from the 58th pick, is big time. And I think he's probably a lock to make one of the final 2 spots if Shamet doesn't get the other one. Salvador says Kolek equals Mark Price. I like that comparison, man. I like that. I like it. Not going to lie, he reminds me a little bit of Pablo Prigioni in terms of just not athletic, can get downhill a little, can get to his spot, has a crafty handle, but yeah, is really crafty passing with both hands. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Pablo Prigioni from the stature and the playmaking perspective. I think Pablo was also 6'3". With that one, we saw Pablo on the bench of the Timberwolves as well, former Knick cult hero. Wall Street Dame says he's the new age Pistol Pete. Old Head says I could see Dadiet and Kolek on the roster next season when Payne and TJ are perhaps gone. They will be here. Yeah, they're on guaranteed contracts, longer term contracts, and I'm glad. I'm glad that the Knicks secured them. Hukporti live. D cool salute. Yeah, don't discount the coaching staff. Dorkosaurus. Hukporti coached by Pat Ewing and Mark Bryant is scary hours. Buzzer Beater says Mark Price is a great comparison as well for Kolek. Great feel for the game, man. Let that be a lesson to all young ballers out there. You stay in college a bit more and you work on your game. I mean, we already talked about the comparisons to Jalen Brunson. Let's talk about that a little bit because 4 years college, success in college as well. I think there's a lot of similarities between the journey of Tyler Kolek and Jalen Brunson. When you got coming into the league with a chip on their shoulder, Kolek probably thought he was probably a lottery kind of talent, slipped into the second round, was deserving of a first round grade. But man, I think he's answered a lot of question marks, Kolek. People thought he would be bullied, he'd be disadvantaged defensively or taken advantage of, but I haven't really seen it hurt us to that extent. And he just gives you so many other winning intangibles. And guys just are going to love playing with him. I mean, he made Precious Achiuwa look like, whoever, in that one. He made him look like a skying high Dwight Howard in that one with the putback slam. Baby Giannis, even. Also, Hukporti. Kolek has made Hukporti, basically look like a real roster spot. Playing here, and there we see one of Hukporti's posters, man. Not gonna lie, man, that poster is cold. Finishing it with the left, and there he showcases the hammer on that one. Too, he had himself a dunk contest alone tonight. Did Hukporti? He looks to have benefited from the training camp, getting with the coaches, weight training and all of that as well. But yeah, to me, Payne Dadiet looks bigger as well. I love his movement too. One sign of a really smart player, guys, is what they do off the ball. And Dadiet is really good at relocating. Here you see that one runs baseline, gets ready for the catch, and that's important as a young player. There you see he takes his time, isn't rushed, surveys the floor, and sees that the lane is open on that one. That's a beautiful jump for him as well. That's a beautiful jump shot for Dadiet. You see high release, no chance of getting blocked, man. That guy committed the 4-point foul. I love that one, putting the ball on the floor with a little push shot as well. Flick of the wrist. What do you guys think of Payne Dadiet's jump shot form? It looks beautiful to me. I think that was one of the high grades on his scouting report as well. Ryan says, I really like Dadiet's energy on the court too. Feel good vibes are great, man. Tony, salute from Puerto Rico. Great night, fam. Great to see you. Let's go. Wall Street says, having Ewing here is big. He'll show our centers how to play big. Yeah, hopefully, fam. The number one fundamental that annoyed me was when players pull the ball down. If you rebound, like Clyde says, go back up strong. Go back up strong, fam. Draw the foul. Also, every big needs to get a head fake. Get a head fake in your arsenal, and get guys in the air. I think is really important as well, right? So, feel good vibes tonight. There was a little bit of herky jerkiness from the bigs. Hukporti with some foul trouble, but I think that's to be expected from extended minutes. But he was super aggressive. He played the whole second half with 4 fouls, so he didn't pick up a foul in the second half. So that tells me that he can work with playing in foul trouble. He can sort of ease off. And I thought his drop coverage was pretty solid. He was still patrolling the paint. And Jericho Sims, a mixed bag from him tonight. Excellent rebounding, and also, they found him with the lob. There was a couple of missed passes that, guys struggled to catch. But Jericho Sims, man, I don't think the fan base is fully sold on him as the backup. It's still a wait and see, work in progress kind of thing. But I think now having a guy like Hukporti on the scene, is really going to make him earn his spot, and it's going to push these guys in practice. And like you guys said, working with Mark Bryant and the other coaches. 718 Fresh says the bench made me proud. Absolutely, I agree with that one, man. Sharon, let's go. Knicks, let's get it. Old head, I'm really impressed with Dadiet. No deer in the headlights, look. Wasn't overwhelmed. Yeah, you know what that's a product of too? Pro experience too. Anytime a player plays pro overseas before getting drafted, I think it definitely helps them now. In terms of if you're an NBA body size, I think you can step in if you've got a good feel for the game. And Dadiet definitely has that. He has a really good feel for the game, and he has an NBA body. I mean, there you see, he barely needs to jump, and he can finish it there as well. He's long, he's athletic. Obviously, out of all of our rooks, Tyler Kolek is the most promising from preseason, man. Played with starters, played with the bench, played with anybody, man. You could throw him out there in Rucker. You could throw him in Dykeman, the Cage, West Fifth. Anywhere, any league in the world, anywhere. Tyler Kolek's just a basketball player, man, that people want to play with. Like Mark Price, like you said, like John Stockton. Doesn't matter what situation, shot clock going down, high stakes game. He just knows what to do. He knows how to run a team, knows where to be. High IQ, man, high IQ guy. And I feel like he's going to be a long-term NBA player. Is Tyler Kolek? I think he'll be someone like. See, I don't like the TJ McConnell comparison either, right? And it could be a comparison to an NBA starter or a legend like Mark Price, John Stockton. Not going to say he's going to hit those heights in his career, but just his game, I feel like it's more advanced than a TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell is just your bread and butter. Be a pest defensively, little runner floater game. Can get guys organized in their sets. But Kolek has so much more sauce to his game. The feel for the game is on point. So I feel like maybe a good comparison, could be, a really, really, high achieving, backup point guard. It could be someone like Tyus Jones right now, who's a borderline starter on a team. Sixth man of the year type player. Someone like that. He could have a long time career like that. Chef says Kolek is Steve Nash. That's a huge comparison, man. That's lofty on that one, but I love the feel for the game. So we've got Knicks and we've got Golden State still unbeaten in preseason. 718 says, I love Hukporti as the backup just in case Sims gets injured or in foul trouble. Yep. So yeah, Landry Shamet is injured if you're just tuning in. Landry Shamet dislocated his shoulder, man. So we've got to wait to see after the tests, but things look dicey in terms of being on a non-guaranteed contract, But speaking of guaranteed contract, man, there's no doubt in my mind that Ariel Hukporti makes the regular roster, right? There's no point having him on the two-way anymore because on a two-way, you can only play 40 days, right? We're only one injury away from one of our bigs, to be needing a guy like Hukporti, to play more meaningful minutes. So in my opinion, I'll be absolutely shocked if the big A doesn't get one of the final two roster spots. And then you've probably got to go like for like if Shamet doesn't get one. and you got to go TJ Warren. You know, we're definitely going to need some shooting, although I'm not as worried because, you know, Deuce is loose. Cameron Payne looks to be legit. Tyler Colette can score as well. And Pacome Dadiet is actually on a real guaranteed NBA roster spot as well. So shout out to the Knicks scouting staff and the front office for their foresight, because it raised a lot of eyebrows, man. There was a lot of disrespect in relation to Pacome Dadiet getting drafted in the first round, the Knicks giving him a guaranteed contract. You know, people thought he was a project for a year or two. And what are we doing wasting a roster spot, early with a player like that? There's a lot of people going to eat their words right now. And I think the front office saw the vision. Shout out to them. Shout out to them as well. So let's do a score check. We've got Let's Go Yankees in the chat. So it's a final, man. The Yankees win 6-3 over Cleveland, man. Big time win. And the Yankees commanding lead now in the series 2-0. Let's go Yankees. Stand up. 2-0 lead after a 6-3 win over Cleveland, man. Let's go. We've got the Mets winning as well. Let's go. Fresh says Pacome made me proud tonight. Yeah, me too, man. I agree. I think it was just good to see him play, firstly, and it's just good to see him take that opportunity so early. Michael Drake says 5 years, Walt Perrin hitting home run, CT, with that one. Yeah, Sharon says Pack and Huck show with that one. Chef says Walt Perrin is a draft god, man. I think a lot of patience was needed, but yeah, I think the NBA readiness is there. You know, you see the feel for the game. The shooting looks better now. I think better than summer league. He has a bigger body now as well. He's still growing as well. But Pacome Dadiet his ceiling is an NBA starter in my opinion. I'm not looking at Dadiet thinking, yeah, he's going to be a long-time bench player. No, he's 6'9", 6'10", checks to be a wing defender, high release, you know, projects to be a guy that puts the ball on the floor and, you know, could shoot off the bounce, you know, projects to be a Kyle Kuzma type role, you know, maybe a third, fourth option in a starting five. You know, in time, obviously not right now, in time. I think his NBA projection, you know, best case scenario, projects as a Pacome Dadiet, as a, you know, Kyle Kuzma type, where it's third, fourth option, NBA three-level scorer. And if we get that with the 58th pick, man, look out. And I know, yeah, shout out, one of you guys said in the chat earlier, this is what Kevin Knox was supposed to be. I'm going to go one further and say that this is what we thought Quentin Grimes, or what we hope Quentin Grimes could have been, but in a longer man's body. You know, I always kept saying, man, I like Grimes, and you know, he had a great game in Dallas the other night. Shout out to Grimes Hive, 20 points I think he had. Looks great in Dallas's offense. But the one thing that was holding Quentin Grimes back, I feel, was being a proper wing size, and I'm talking about a 3-4 combination, a 2-3-4. You know, Grimes is 6'5", and so you know, there was always going to be a cap. There was always going to be a ceiling on what Grimes could be, you know, being 6'5". But this is your future new age prototypical wing with Pacome Dadiet being 6'8", 6'9". You know, he could be 6'10" soon. Yeah, you see him there next to Hukporti. I think Dadiet is a clear 6'8", and I won't be surprised if he's 6'9" in a minute. So yeah, we hit a home run with that one, man. Yeah, I like the grittiness of Quentin Grimes. You know, he definitely had a good rookie season. He stole Evan Fournier's spot. He was hungry. Yeah, Tony Hukporti should make the cut. Absolutely, he should. I think the cohesiveness and chemistry with these rooks, you know, I think I could see it all carrying over from summer league to actually being a proper NBA rotation bench in maybe next year. Some of them this year, but all of them next year. Like let's say Shamet gets paid, he plays well or he doesn't stick. Let's say Cameron Payne, is here or isn't here. Next season, I think our bench is clearly going to be Kolek, Hukporti. Obviously we'll see if McCullough is legit, and Dadiet as proper bench rotation players next season, all on the cheap as well. So big time night, big time win. Prayers up for Landry Shamet. Now let's hear from the Huck. The Huck Hive is alive, man. Let's hear from him, and we'll see if there's any other updates with Landry Shamet. Let me just get this audio on, make sure that that's on. Let's go.
How many players did you dunk on today? Was it 2? How many players did you dunk on today? Was it 2, 3? How many?
You tell me.
I think it was at least 2. I think you tried. Yeah. Is that your game? You go out there try to dunk on everybody?
No, my first one was like, I jumped and then I was like, oh damn, I'm mad high. Why not? let me try it. But, nah, like you said, he was like, oh yeah, make sure you're aggressive, and that's what I was trying to do today. So yeah.
How many players did you dunk on today?
There we
2,
go.
3?
The Huck man, the Big A, they call him in the Big Apple. Ariel Hukporti. Dunked on a couple bodies tonight. I lost count, man. There was a double homicide at least tonight. He was catching bodies all over the place, but Ariel just said there, Tibbs told him be aggressive, gave that energy. And that's what I think we need from Sims. We need from him. We need from all of our bench players. Make your minutes count. If you come on and you only play 5 minutes, whether it's 9 minutes, 8 minutes, 13 minutes, just be aggressive, set picks, roll hard, When you hit the bench, you should be gassed. You should be like, breathing for oxygen, or, struggling for oxygen when it comes to that. So, yeah, the bench made us proud tonight, guys, putting the beat down on an NBA rotation team, right? Obviously, a starting team early in this one, and it's neck and neck now with Deuce McBride and Pacome Dadiet for your standout player of the night. The Incredible Hulk, Porty, is a good one. I like that, man. Yep. Michael says, I like the Big A. Yeah, so that carried over from Australia. The NBL and his former team used to call him, the Big A. But now he's the Big A in the Big Apple. So that's a good one. I think he's a long-term prospect. So once again, just a bit more background on Hukporti, guys, is that he was on draft people's radars, back when he was 15, 16, 17. He played in these overseas tournaments, the FIBA tournaments, all of those things. And, there was a lot of scouts, eyeing him, and feeling like he'd be a clear first-round talent. He played pro overseas, tore his Achilles, and then he obviously disappeared a little bit because he missed an entire draft cycle with the injury. But the talent, the upside was always there, from a young age. And so the scouts were cautiously high on what he could be. He lost a little bit of the athleticism after the Achilles, but it looks like a lot of that has returned. And he is dynamite, right, with the jackhammer, and finishing in traffic. I mean, man, I was like eating during the game when he threw down that first hammer, and I was like, man, let's bring that up again. Which one is it? Yeah, Kolek was outstanding tonight, man. But yeah, this dime from Deuce, man, the little around the wraparound pass was just in the right pocket, the right sweet spot for Ariel, man. And he cocked that one back with the left. I thought he maybe bit off more than he could chew, man. When he took off from like that far out, I was like, man, took the contact. But I think the length is what you see from Hukporti. He's a real 6'11", 7-footer type size, but with good hops. But he's a big man. He's heavy. He's tough to move down low. And he sets the big screen that Trey Mann has just got no chance of even getting around. Too, man. When Ariel Hukporti sets that screen, you know he really moves you, and so I think that's a weapon that we have moving forward now. Let's go Yankees. John says New York Yankees win 6-3. Yes, we're hyped over that one. We've got the Mets deep as well, man. The Subway Series. Man, I just wish the Giants were better, man. Disappointing night the other night, man, with the Giants. You know, and the Jets, obviously a tough spot as well, right? But let's hope the Rangers can go one further this season, man. But of course, the New York Knicks, man, they're the only team that really stops the city. Stops the city, I think, in the biggest way. When the Knicks are going on that deep championship run, like they did in the 90s, man, the city is absolutely buzzing with that. So a lot of questions have been answered for me for preseason, man. I know we got one more ball game, but obviously we got the little factor, the spanner in the work with the Landry Shamet, and we wait to see how that plays out. But I'm cool with the guys we have. You know, I really like the guys we have now. I think we've got the scoring, we've got some playmaking, we've got some bruisers out there that can rebound. Yeah, it's not the best bench, obviously. You know, there are still some questions, but I think overall, for our starting five to be that strong and our bench to be solid, I think we're in a great spot, man. We're in a great spot, I think, to start the NBA season. We're going to drop a full preview show where we're going to give our overs, unders, our predictions on how many games we win, all of those things, man. We'll get EJ in here, and we've got a few more guests lined up before the season begins, starting tomorrow night with John Schmelk in the building, right, to chop that one up. But man, tonight the story is that the New York Knicks are undefeated in preseason, right? The chat's been buzzing all night. New York City is buzzing right now, and we wait for the final preseason game on Friday. But man, orange and blue skies, right? Let's get it. Is these New York Knicks? The bench showed out. Shout out to Precious Achiuwa, Cameron Payne, the veterans. Deuce McBride is a vet now. And the young fellas, the rookies, showed out. And the starters loved it. The starters were enjoying it, man, all night tonight. To Eddie F, salute, let's go. Appreciate you for that. I was just given the info that I had, man, on Hukporti, you know, and he was a different breed. He was a different player than what the 58th pick suggested. Let's get it. The Public Enemy, good to see you in here as well. And everyone else tonight, appreciate all the questions, comments, the super chats. Great post game. And I'm ready for Friday night, man. But we'll see you tomorrow night after 9 p.m. for a late night stream. We'll talk a little bit about the Giants and what's happening there with John. But John Schmelk will be talking about all things Knicks so far. And stand up. You can still vote. The vote will continue. If you're watching this on replay, you could QR code and vote for your standout player. But Dadiet made a huge case tonight, man, with his performance. 16 points. It was eye-opening, and I can't wait to see more. With that, I want to see more of Dadiet, I'm not going to lie. But there's only one more preseason game to go. It's going to be legit. It's a full dress rehearsal. And so, into the season we begin, man. And let's see. Hopefully guys can stay healthy. But some guys are making a huge case. Now, rest up, heal up, Landry Shamet. We're going to need you, fam. TJ Warren, stay ready. And we'll talk about it again tomorrow night. Hopefully we get some good news on the Landry Shamet front. But peace, blessings, health, happiness, everyone. Great to have you with us tonight, and we'll talk soon. Peace.